halted government's plans to shut down or interfere with internet access. This decision follows a petition by civil society groups concerned about digital rights and freedom of expression. The government has throttled the internet twice over the past 2 years, once during a protest in 2023 and another during national secondary school examinations in 2024. To get more on this story, we're joined on the line by journalist in Nairobi, Kenya, David Owino. David, always great catching up with you on stories pertaining to your country. How are you on this Friday?
Very well. Good morning.
So why does the government of Kenya want to limit access to the internet?
Yeah, I think this case that was filed by civil society groups is a preemptive action because, like you reported, we have had cases in which internet has either been, shut down temporarily or throttled, mostly throttled. The worst case was last year during the June 25th anti-finance bill demonstrations, or what have been popularly known as Gen Z protests. And during that time, almost 60 people were killed. So seeing where we are going, that we are nearing elections, people are already campaigning. We are nearing next month, they will be releasing another finance bill for the year 2025-2026, which already, judging from the conversations that are ongoing, people are not happy with. This action is preemptive, so that just in case the government tries to stifle that space, then there will be, a court injunction, even as the case proceeds.
So in the previous similar cases, as we say, 2023 and 2024, the reasons that government gave was that it would be during protests and then also to ensure that there's no cheating during exams. Were these reasons justified?
Those reasons cannot be justified in a society where internet is not luxury. This is like cutting off oxygen for people. It cannot be justified. If you look at something like examinations, you can apply tools that target that specific space so that only the people that are concerned are affected by your throttling. If you look at a time when people are doing protests, they need that space to express themselves. The freedom of expressions, freedom of assembly, that is what they use to mobilize. So I do not think this can be justified, and we've seen examples in other countries in Africa.
Kenya already has the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act of 2018, which tackles the international publication of false information or anybody who incites violence or causes harm, and one can be punishable with a fine of up to 5 million shillings or 2 years in prison. Is this not enough to cover the aim of instilling national order, if that's what the government wants to do?
Sanda, like they say, democracy dies in darkness. I think, yes, the law is there and the law is clear. But I think people will always want to try things outside of the law. Of course, what they did is unconstitutional. And governments will always, if left unchecked, will always try things outside of the law. And if that goes unchallenged, then we have a problem.
Is Kenya exempt in terms of how government sees it from international legal law surrounding digital shutdowns? Because international law legally clearly states the importance of freedom of expression and the right to access information under the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, for example. Does Kenya see itself as being separate from this?
Of course it does. Previous engagements with government officials have confirmed that they actually consider themselves part of that. However, there are, like I said, just rogue practices that people will try, trying to push the limits of your boundary to see if people will react or will oppose it. I think it is just a government that is testing the limits of its boundaries.
Internet access, as we know, is a fundamental part of daily life. So What is the economic impact if government decides to shut down the internet? Some people even make money. They earn a living using the digital space.
It is huge. It is huge. I mean, today, Kenya, like any other country, people rely hugely on the internet, whether for healthcare, to access information, for education, companies that are running systems, including the government itself, where for us to procure services, we have to go to a portal called eCitizen, where you access all government services. It is, of course, a huge thing. Internet, for us, like for many people, we do not think is luxury. It is a lifeline.
Yeah. What will this do to tourism, especially those who travel for business into Kenya?
Well, there is no problem. Nobody is shutting internet now. But like I said, they tried to get the court injunction just in case there is any such effort, just in case the government would intend or try to do any such thing. Then they should know that there is already a court injunction. And the thing is, this also they included the service providers in the case. So the two main service providers in Kenya, Airtel and Safaricom, they are included in the case. The Communications Authority of Kenya, the Ministry of Communication, ICT, the minister himself, the Attorney General, all these are included. So whatever place or whatever authority where such an order or such action could come from is included here and a part of the injunction. So they are not allowed to, interfere with internet. But this is, like anticipatory, just in case this happens in the future, based on things that we have seen in the past.
We make the point that it could have been motivated by what we saw last year during the anti-tax marches, move or almost move, the hashtag Reject Finance Bill of 2024. But as a point of argument, what are the legal frameworks for internet censorship in Kenya to ensure that government's pursuit of national security or public order does not infringe on people's constitutional rights and there isn't a panic reaction, as you say, this is a preemptive response?
Yeah, there is no legal basis for doing this. Otherwise, we would not even have this injunction in the first place. And I think even if we were to look at our neighbors, things that have been happening around us, there is precedence that has been set that shutting down internet on the people is illegal, is unconstitutional.
Well, let's leave it there for now. Thank you so much, David, and you have a great weekend.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, David Owino, a journalist in Nairobi, Kenya, unpacking for us this story where a high court in Kenya has temporarily halted government's plans to shut down or interfere with internet access. 19 minutes past 7 Central African time it is.
Hey guys, question. Have you thought about what happens